I've just completed the elite reaction phase and the exploit move. So elite reaction, that is the non-initiative player, the allies with anything 6, 7, or 8. The only thing they have headquarters. I'm not moving their headquarters, so there's one for each region, so northern, central, and southern. They also have some Marines, so I moved this Marine unit to here to, kind of give the Chinese. We didn't know which way the Chinese were going to go, whether they were going to go south or north. So moved the Marines there. And we also removed. We also moved these Marines over here. They were down. South. So basically the same thing, right? So we know that the Chinese are storming the central portion of Taiwan, so we're starting to converge. Of course, I could only move those units. Otherwise, I probably would have moved more. During the exploitation move, we moved these Marines here. I think they were back there. So we kind of went this way and did the roundabout way of doing it. My airborne drop was successful. It was hit by SAM fire, so we did take one, or had to reduce one unit. And I also moved these amps. They were in the Straits of Taiwan. Now they're in the inshore box, so the next movement they should be able to move. And also I established a beachhead right there too. So I left these guys here because number one, they're reduced, and number two, I didn't know what was going to happen over here. So I wanted to be able to react because I didn't want to push everything south and then these guys just come in behind me. So, these guys are, they're reduced, but I want them to protect that beachhead. So that is what is going on there. Now we are in the exploitation combat. I think I will probably do one here. The Chinese do suffer some negative column shifts, but I think I'll be able to overcome that with the surprise, the efficiency rating bonus. I'm going to try some cyber warfare here too. We don't have any artillery on the ground yet, but I'm going to try some cyber warfare. If you're successful with that, that can net you some column shifts to the right, which will be a good thing. So I'll be back, and once I figure out all that, I'll be back. Okay, so it is the exploit combat phase, and I'm not going to do, I'm not going to always show combats or air superiority or air combats or anything like that. I'm not going to always show those, but I figured for this first video, I'll show some stuff. And if there's anybody out there that wants to see an example of how something's done, just put it down in the comments and I'll see what I can do. So we are going to resolve this because you have to do interceptor combat before you can figure out what the results of your air support is. All right, so actually, you know what? We have to... These aren't committed yet. I have to see if I detect them first. But you still have to commit the escort, but you don't have to commit the interceptors until after you've figured out if this mission has, because these 3 planes are considered one mission. So we got to figure out if that mission has been detected. It looks like there's no DRM associated with that, so the detection level is an 8. So we're rolling on this track right here. I rolled a 7. So 7 is that line right there. So it has been detected, which means interceptors can't fly in and do anything, but they are still subjected to SAM fire. So this guy will go back to the flown box. And then we have to determine if those guys get hit by SAMs. So let's do this. All right, there's really no good way to... Alright, so SAMs are at 6, so we're looking at this column right here. So here we go. There's the column we're looking at. There are no modifiers to that, so I'll just go ahead and roll. So we got an 8. Actually, we roll for each plane. So this is for the first plane. An 8 is no result. And a 4 will be +1. So this guy gets a +1 to his die roll. So that's not too bad. Actually, that's not, you're not even getting a die roll. You're just adding DRMs to your die roll for the on the combat results table. So air units, you can support an attack with 2 air units, which I'm doing right there. That's 2 units, and the most I can have for DRMs for support is 6. So basically this, so you look at, we'll go ahead and, so it's this second number right here is what the DRM is going to be. So you're going to have a +3 DRM, or actually a -3 DRM, and then this one had the +1 on it. So this one will have a -2 DRM. So we're going to have a total of -5 from that, from this air support. So that is a -5. This is a -1 from the remainder in the odds calculation. So we have a total of -6 off of this, off the die roll. We are sitting at the 11 column. So how we came about the 11 column, so we have 5 attack factors. These attack factors are halved because we're attacking across a minor river. So that's 1.5 and 1.5. They get rounded up in this case, so it'll be 2 and 2, so that's 4. So we have a total of 9 to 2, which basically gives you 4 to 1 with the remainder. We look on here, flat woods, we're in the 4 to 1 column. Now we do our column shifts. So it is a -2 column shift because it is the exploitation combat phase. So it's like the units are, you're getting the -2 because the units have been involved in combat on multiple occasions and they're probably overextended, running low on supplies, that kind of thing. It's all abstracted. It doesn't really tell you. There is a +1 column shift because of the surprise that's dictated by the scenario. You get a +1 column shift to the right for game turn 1 only. The efficiency ratings are better by 1, so that's 1 more column shift. I did do some cyber warfare, and it was unsuccessful. That could have given me a 1 more column shift to the right. So we are looking at an 11. And what did I say? We had a -5 or -6? I think yeah, it's a -6 because the aircraft were a total of 5, and that is for the remainder. So -6. This is probably gonna definitely go in my favor. So there we go. So that is an 8 -6, which is 2. So we go to here. So that is 2 and a retreat. Now these ones that are in red, let's say I had rolled, I had ended up with a 3. So the attacker would, actually let's do this. Let's say I had rolled a 3. So it shows that the attacker takes a loss, and then the defender takes 2 losses and a retreat. Well, if it's in red, you do the defender losses first, and if the defender can't satisfy all the requirements, then you can ignore 1 loss. So I could basically ignore that 1 attacker loss, but it didn't work out like that. That's what we ended up getting. So this guy is dead. That is another loss. That will be 1 more. victory point. I believe it's a 1 victory point for a brigade. Yep, so 1 victory point for every brigade eliminated. Now I can advance after combat. I definitely want to advance these guys into that hex. These guys go to the flown box. I can clear that out of there. I can clear that out of there. Clear that out of there. And that will do it. That's really the only... Oh, you know what else I wanted to do? I wanted to do some naval combat. So let's move that out of the way. All right, we're going to do some naval combat. So we're going to use this surface action group, and it's going to attack this surface action group that is point detected. All right, so how naval combat is going to work is as long as it is in and they are in all sea hexes within 10 of each other, and the strike doesn't cross land. So that is definitely the case with these two right here. All right, so what we're going to do is it is going to be a naval 1 against a naval unit, because we look at... So that first one is the combat value of that surface action group. So it's a naval strike 1. And the Chinese is going to be a naval strike 2 when he fires back, or if he fires back. So what we have to look at is the DRMs down here versus naval. So we have naval air unit, nope, point detection. That unit is point detected. And that is it. So it's basically going to be a -1 to the die roll, which is good, right? Minuses in this game are good. So I'll go ahead and roll. And we got a 6 minus 1 is a 5. So we look on the naval 1, and a 5 gets us nothing. Now, when a naval unit fires, he is now point detected. And any naval units that I wish can fire back. So I will fire back with the unit that was fired upon. So he's going to use the naval 2 with a -1 DRM, because that unit that just fired at him is point detected. And I got a 3, which turns into a 2. And a 2 is a strike 1 result is going to go on to that naval unit. And this is what we do here. So we look at strike 1 for a surface action group. May retreat to the nearest friendly port or at sea box. And it has +1 to naval surface combat. So if I can either give it a strike 1 marker and it'll have a +1 to naval surface combat, or I can just retreat it to the nearest friendly port or at sea box. It depends on what I want to do. I think I'll just give it the strike 1 marker and kind of see what happens. We'll see what the Chinese do. Probably a bad idea to give it a strike 1, because that just makes it all the more vulnerable to other attacks. So that's it. That is the exploit combat. All right, now we go to reaction movement. So the non-initiative player may move any units, up to their full movement allowance. Air mobile, sea movement, and transport are allowed. So I'll go ahead and move that, and then we'll see what happens from there. I've just conducted my reaction move. So I moved a couple of units, these Marines, which were over that way, up to to block the Chinese Marines. I forgot about the refugees, so I implemented that after I moved these guys. It didn't really affect anything over here. I moved these guys up, so we're going to try to pinch these Marines in, the Chinese Marines and the Chinese beachhead. We're going to try to pinch it in. Unfortunately, I'm not going to attack just because I'm not going to be able to get good odds. As you can see, that's 4 attack factors and that's 4 defense factors. So I'm looking at a 1-to-1 1-to-1 odds coming out of that. It's just not gonna be good. It won't end well for Taiwan or the ROC, the Republic of China. It's not gonna end well for them. I moved some guys up from there, and then I just repositioned a few units over here. So that is it for the reaction. I'm not going to do the reaction combat. Let's see, where am I at now? So I go to the second strike phase. There's really not much left to do second strikes with. I could use headquarters if I want, which I might do. I only have the one that's within range of doing anything. I have just finished up the second strike phase and went through all the steps. So let's see the results. We had that air unit decided to conduct a strike on this stat. I get to pick because as long as these guys are automatically detected because they are next to a unit of mine, so I was going to attack the Marines right there. So I got a strike 1 result. They were detected, but they survived the SAM fire. There was no adverse effects. So ended up getting a strike 1. This stack here, or this unit here, I committed or Apache helicopter. I got a strike 1 result, and then I also used the headquarters here and got a strike 1 result. So those combined to a strike 2. So the second PRC Marines now have a strike 2 marker on them. And then I launched some cruise missiles at that air base right there. I got a strike 2 result, and there's possible collateral damage, so I have to roll for that. I tried to attack the detection and SAM tracks again. I haven't had any luck with these air defense tracks, so no result. They were detected early, but unfortunately, there was no results. So all I really need to do is roll for the collateral damage on that airbase. Alright, so here's our collateral damage. It is a strike versus airbase. It is a strike 2 marker. So we want to roll low. Roll the 9, which is going to be nothing. So there was no collateral damage, but there is a strike 2 marker on that airbase. There we go. Oh, I did not. I just reduced my cruise missiles by 2. So that is it. Now we will go to the supply phase. Honestly, nobody is going to be out of supply right now. I don't even need to check that because the only units that could possibly be out of supply would be the Marines that just did the amphibious assault. However, they are not because they have a beachhead. The weather is clear. They control the Taiwan inshore box and they control the Straits of Taiwan. So there's no question that the Chinese will be able to get supply to that beachhead. If the weather turns bad, which the first 2 turns are guaranteed to be clear, because obviously China has meteorologists and they know what the weather's going to be at least 3 days out, right? That meteorologists can accurately predict the weather 3 to 4 days out. So the Chinese know that, hey, we picked the right time to launch an invasion. So supply phase, actually, and it even says on the card here, supply not on game turn 1. But I mean, the only ones that we have to check for would be the Chinese, and they're fine. Now we do basic move and combat. So I'll go ahead and resolve all that and then get back with you. Basic movement and combat phase have now been, well, not combat, I'm sorry, the basic movement phase has been completed. So that is the initiative. First player can move any and all movement or all units via air, sea, or foot movement. So I think what I did here is I move these airborne guys here because they see the rock army coming in from the north. I got to make sure I keep my cardinal directions. I always want to north is the top of the map, not in this case. These Marines stayed put. I did have an amphibious assault and amphibious assault craft. They disembarked. Let me see, that guy. I think these two guys were on the ship. And then this guy was able to use sea transport point to get there. So now I do have a China. Ah, dang it. All right, there we go. And that's what happens sometimes when using the tweezers. All right. That guy goes there. So anyway, what I was saying, I do have the airborne headquarters there, which will help extend supply. At least with my airborne guys, as long as the weather holds out. All right, so now we can do combat. Oh, let me go ahead and turn these guys because they are no longer. All right, so I can do combat. Well, these guys are kind of hurting right there. There's probably not a whole lot of point. I don't know. Strike 2. What does a strike 2 do? I think it reduces. There's so many cards. That is one of the problems with this, is that you almost need a table for all your player aid cards and everything. So a strike 2 on a ground unit. All right, so yeah, -2 attack, -2 to defense, -2 to the movement allowance, -2 to the efficiency rating. All right, so what are we looking at here if we decided to attack with both of these on this stack here? So we're looking at, that would be a 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 2, it looks like 4, so it'd be 2 to 1 odds. I don't know. 2 to 1's not the greatest. I do get. Alright, so your efficiency rating is down, so I think I would have an efficiency rating plus surprise. Yep, so that would be 2. That would be 2 column shifts. I think, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I could use that airborne headquarters to support because they are. So when this block is white, they are considered independent, and independent units can support anybody, I think. Let me double check. So yeah, the white, they are subordinate to anybody. So, well, actually, it doesn't really matter because these Marines are also white. So that headquarters can be subordinate to the Marines. So I'm pretty sure I can lend headquarters support. That will give me, I think, another column shift. So maybe I might want to hit that hex. I definitely probably want to hit that hex because I got plenty of units. You can have the beachhead increases the stacking limit to +6 or to 6. I'd say +6. I've pretty much used up all. So these units are in the air superiority box. So there's only 3 left, and this is what I have left as far as combat support or conducting strikes. So I've pretty much used up everything that I have. I keep forgetting about the close air support. I'm only allowed to use 1 unit. I don't think I've violated that too many times, but again, that's the kind of thing that happens when you're playing a game of this magnitude by yourself. You're going to forget a lot of stuff. So, you know, it is what it is, right? You're gonna forget stuff that favors each side. So, no big deal. So let's go ahead and I think we'll attack these guys. Looks like there's 5 factors. So let's see here. So that is 6, 7, 8 from the airborne boys. That'll be 11, 14, 17. So we'll use, there we go. Yeah, man. What I hate about large stacks of units. All right, where was I? I think I was at 17, and then it's a total of 5. All right, so this hex here is going to get attacked. I am attacking it with this entire stack of airborne. These 3 guys, which are here, they have been given amphibious support. We did attack. There was that rock surface action group right there. We attacked them twice, caused a strike, forced them to retreat rather than take the extra strike marker. So that allowed this amphibious assault ship to support this. So we had the remainder and we had the +1 for support. Actually, it's minus, so that's supposed to be a minus right there. So we have a -2 DRM. We also got some cyber warfare going. So the way it works is you attack, defense, survivability. So attack, defense, survivability. So the attack minus the defense is 5. So the attack value is a net 2. I needed to roll a 3 or better for ground combat. And the initiative player gets a -2 on game turn 1. So I rolled a 5, which gave me a 3, which means that's successful. So that gives you a +1 column shift. Then I rolled to see survivability, which is the second number. So 0 is 0. So less than 6. 1 is less than 5. So both of these markers survive. So they just go to the used box. That's a long-winded way of saying, hey, they're all right. So that netted me another column shift. So now I'm ready to roll. I'm not going to use any aircraft to help support that. So I'm on the 11 column because that is rough. So, It was 4-1 in rough. Now it's 5-1. So let's roll and see what happens. Remember, it's a -2 to the die. So that's a 6. Not good. But that does net me a 1 and a retreat. Lead unit. So you have to take that loss. And that goes bye-bye. I'll back up. There we go. Now I will go ahead and move these guys in there. All right, so that will do it. Am I going to do anything over here? I don't know yet. Let me think about that. All right, so after thinking about it, the only thing I can really attack with, so I'm going to finish up the combat phase for the initiative player, and I'll throw that over to the allies. We can do reaction, move, and then combat. I don't really think we've got the refugees that are clogging up the highways. I can probably move a couple of guys out, but I really don't think. All right, we'll move this guy here. I'm going to have up to 4 stacking points, so I tell you what, I am going to move that there. I think these are 1 point apiece because of refugees. I'm just going to pretend that it's that way. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want to do that. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Got that supply depot there. I'm going to try to hold on to that. We'll go ahead and move that guy there. I probably should move that tank up, or that armor brigade up, but I think I'm going to leave it there for the time being. Let's go over here to the yellow. They don't really have the problem with yellow is they don't have a lot of units. I'm going to leave that alone. Move. Could probably move this guy. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can move you to there. I think. I don't remember the secondary road. Primary roads. That's a primary road. It's going to cost 1.5. So 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. I can get to there. I will go ahead and move to there. I think that's it. I'm not going to do any combats with the allies just because they're really not in any kind of positions to do anything that's going to make a difference, I think. It's more of a defensive game for these guys, I think. All right, so straighten that guy out. Straighten that guy out. I think that's it. So that's the reaction combat. There's nobody isolated. These guys aren't isolated because they're still in supply because the weather is good. Now we go on to reorg. All right, so reorg phase. Sorry for bumping the table, but, you know, hey, it's going to happen. Rotate all helicopters to reflect no missions. I think there's only one helicopter that I actually did, and now it's the one down here that's actually located here. So see that little arrow right there? That just kind of keeps, that allows you to put air units in here or sea units in there to keep that box from being clogged up. So there we go. So yeah, this first video is going to be a little bit long, but you know, I'm doing a lot of rules explaining and procedure explaining that I wouldn't normally do. Return all air units in the air superiority box to the ready box. So there we go. So the air superiority box is right here. So they go back to the ready box. And then this guy was from South Korea, so he goes way over here. So he goes right there. Yeah, I only had a couple of U.S. units. The Republic of Korea is not involved in the war yet, so that's why all those units are still there and they didn't participate because they're not helping out Taiwan, just the U.S. All right, what is next? Move air units from the flown box to the ready box. Now this is a mess. So this one's a lot easier. So these go here, 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 and here. And then all that mess is going to go to the ready box. So I'm going to just move it down here. I'll straighten it up later, but this will just kind of... The biggest thing is just making sure that whatever units are flipped stay flipped, or that whatever units have been reduced. So yeah, I'll straighten this out later, but I'm just kind of... You guys don't need to see it on camera, but you at least need to see that I'm actually going through the process. So all those guys go back in the flown box. Air units may rebase. Now, I definitely need to do that with some stuff. So I need to... Oh, you know what? There was some movement that I wanted to do. I wanted to move this carrier battle group during the last movement section, so you'll go there. Nobody owns this, so it's not a contested move, despite there being a submarine there. So that is actually, you know what? Oh, where is it? It's not naval detection. All right, so I did want to move this carrier battle group from Guam to the central approaches. It took that submarine with it. They revealed, each side revealed, so it is a contested move. So it is a -1 for each SAG. The submarines are -2s or +2s respectively. There's no air supremacy. At least one inshore box. Nope, there's nothing that's controlled there. ASW level, allied only. What's the ASW level? So the ASW level is 2. So that's a -2. So that is -1, -3, -5. The submarine threat level is 3. So that makes it a -2. There's no mines. So what did I say? Oh my gosh, it's so hard to keep all this stuff straight. It's a -2, I believe, total to the die roll. So successful. So now this is the submarines are permanently revealed. Okay, so something that I did not take into effect is that submarines have to make a survival check after if they provide a DRM for sea control or contested sea movement, which is, I hadn't read the rules prior to doing that. You have to conduct a survival check. So this number up in the top corner is a survival number, so I have to roll less than that number. But the DRMs are going to make it impossible for that Chinese submarine to survive, because you get +2 per enemy CVN, nuclear carrier. You get +2 for each enemy sub in the box, and then you have to invert that, so that's now a +2. So there's a +6 to the die roll. I can't. Well, if I rolled a 0, that survives. So that submarine is destroyed. So this goes on the game information display 3 turns ahead and will enter as a reinforcement. So, all right, let's check for that one. I don't know if that's simultaneous or not. Yeah, I don't know if that's simultaneous. So we get, it looks like there was one sub, so that's +2, but then the inverse of that is -1, so a +1 to the die roll. So I have to roll underneath a 6, and that is an 8, so that's not good. All right. Well, if the modified roll is equal to the ASW survivor value, then the submarine receives a strike 1. If it's more than the value but less than double, it receives a strike 2. A submarine which receives a strike marker may immediately be placed in its nationality's holding box. Rock markers do not have a holding box, therefore they may not retreat. All right, so we will just put both of these because the result wasn't double for either one of them. So we'll put them in their holding boxes. So the PRC goes into there. And where is the US holding box? Right here. So these guys, they just they get sent back. All right. But the big thing is that aircraft carrier made it here, which is what I want to do. Man, that's a long-winded way to figure out that I can move from here to here. It's all pretty involved. But then again, this game is pretty involved. All right, so where was I at? I was at air units may rebase. That's what I was doing. I wanted to rebase some air units. I need to figure out what rebasing does. Because I want these guys. Well, that one can probably stay in Guam, but that one can't do anything because it's just a little too far away. So I definitely want to rebase him. The Chinese don't need to rebase anything because everything's close enough. So honestly, I think actually these guys too, because they're medium range. I need to get them a little bit closer than Japan. So let me figure out what I got to do. Okay, so to rebase, it can go from the ready box to the flown box of wherever it wants to go, or from the flown or recovery box to the aborted box. So this guy can't do anything because he needs to go there. So this guy will go to the flown box. To here. Then I still need to take care of these. Well, that guy goes there because I forgot to do him. And then I'm going to end up having to, I think that's one of the other steps. All right. So I have to roll for the availability. So we'll just go, blue will be the first one, red will be the second one. So 9 and 6. So basically they go to the flown box. 2 goes to the flown box. We'll go there. 0 goes to the ready box. How about that? Got lucky on that one. You go all the way to the ready box. And then this guy got a 2, so you go to the flown box. So that's how that works. I may have got something wrong, but whatever. All right, the next step is Special Forces markers. And of course, cyber warfare also falls into that category. So those go to the available, and those go to the available. Reset our mobile points, didn't use any. Remove tunnel markers, didn't use that. Conduct clearing operations, I don't think. Yep, there's no clearing operation to conduct. Chemical support, removed, nope. Remove all detection, targeted, and emergency supply markers, and flip beachheads to in supply if appropriate. Ooh, I didn't do... My beachhead was automatically in supply, so... Or, I didn't do that. All right, so what are we doing? Detection, targeted, and emergency supply. So... All right, that's it. Rotate all in supply headquarters artillery that bear no strike marker to full combat capabilities. So I think I used just this one. This is the only one that I used. Remove all interdiction strike 1 markers. So all strike 1s. So that's a strike 1 gone, strike 1 gone. Oh, what did I do? I ended up brushing something. I don't remember where that was. Think it was here, but whatever. It's not super important. Not a whole lot's going on over here. So this was there, so that turns into a strike 1 now. That is removed. That goes to strike 1. That is removed. And I think the only other one is way over here. Actually, that one too. So put those in there, and that turns into a strike 1. All right. Both players may spend supply points to repair ADF tracks and installations. Nope. Nothing was ruined. I'm telling you, the Republic of China dodged a humongous bullet with those air defense tracks. Check for holding box air-based destruction effects. There wasn't any, so that is that. Reinforcement and replacements. Okay, so now we go to replacements and reinforcements. So let's see here. So for the PRC, you get 1 supply point per turn, game turn number 2. So we don't get anything. Replacement points, we don't get any. We don't get any cruise missile points. We don't get any reinforcements because that is game turn number 2. So that is it. So the PRC was pretty easy. And then the rock... Oh, can't see anything because my hand's there. Looks like replacements. You get 1 per turn on game turns 3, 5, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't look like anybody gets anything. I have to go ahead and check. I think the only other thing I need to check is, oh no, I was going to look at the American stuff. So game turn 2, you get row D on the reinforcement schedule. So basically nobody gets anything because it's kind of been a surprise, I guess. That's the way you look at it. So let's look. Let's see, reinforcement and replacement phase is over. Oh, I can spend supply points to recover or replace HQs, helicopters, and air units, or I can consolidate air units. And then I need to adjust submarine threat and ASW levels. There's going to be no victory point victory determination. So let me check real quick as far as spending supply points for helicopters and air units. All right, so for replacements, you can look here. Headquarters would cost a supply point. If it's division or supreme headquarters, a supply point. So I don't need to do that. So it will cost me 2 supply points to flip this over to its full strength side. And it's also the same for air points. I don't know. The Allies have a lot less supply points. The Allies have 24 and the Chinese have 40. All right, let's look. There's such a big mess in here. What is that guy? That guy's probably not worth it. All right, this guy's yep, I think I want to spend 2 supply points on him. He's already aborted anyway, so it's not like it's a big deal. So that's that. What's this guy? He's a 4. Yeah, let's do that too. And we only have 2. Actually, this guy right here. Yeah, definitely. Where did he go? So I will definitely spend the 2 points to get that guy back up to full strength. That Mirage, he's a 3. Man, that Mirage is really not worth it, but because it doesn't really improve his attack value that much better, but if he takes damage again, it's dead. So I'll do that too, as much as I don't want to. I'll put that Mirage back up. All right. I think that's it. 2793. Let me just double check real quick that they don't. All right, you do go to the flown box when you do that. So that guy goes there. He was already in the flown box. These guys were in the aborted box. So that's it. There will be no victory determination phase, and then that is it. So we'll go to the game, advance the game turn marker, and begin the next turn. All right, so... Oh, I don't have the game turn marker. There we go. There it is. So you go to 2. All right. That's it, folks. That is, I know it seems like a lot, but that's basically one turn. Other turns I'll go through a lot faster because I won't get into the minutia so much. I'll just, hey, these guys moved here and blah blah blah. So anyway, thanks for watching and I hope you enjoyed this.